Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here in my Kurta, as you can see here, and actually it's going to be the topic of our conversation today. But before I get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who have watched my last video, who've commented on it. There were some debates happening in the comment section, which was really good, really healthy. It gave me an awful lot to think about. I'll definitely be doing a follow-up vlog based on a lot of the comments that you guys have made. You've given me so many more thoughts and a lot more ideas to chew on the topic of safety in Singapore. And some of you shared some of your unsafe stories as well, and I'm looking forward to kind of sharing some of those, not because I want to shame or to bring anything down, but I think because it's a really good thing to be aware. Before we continue, I would love it if you could hit subscribe. In this last 6 days, it's grown by over 100 subscribers already, which is amazing. And like I said, that last video had way more views than I ever expected it to. And so I'd really appreciate your continued support with that. As I said, today I'm in my Kurta. We are celebrating Deepavali. Well, I was celebrating Deepavali at my school today where I work. And a conversation that I had in our DEI Council, which is the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. Actually, there's a J at the end as well, Justice. That committee that and council that I'm a part of at my work. We asked the question a couple of weeks ago, when is it okay to wear a cultural outfit from somebody else's culture? And it brought up a lot of conversation that I just wasn't aware of. It really opened my mind to many other people's opinions on it. And so today, to be honest, I felt slightly awkward at points wearing this kurta. Last year was my first time wearing it. Actually, the day before we celebrated at work, one of my colleagues, who's called Asit, a really lovely guy, I miss him a lot actually, he's now working in a school in Thailand, but he took me to Little India, to one of his favourite spots, where he helped me pick this out, and it's just a beautiful fit. It's like it was made for me, and I love it. And I wore it with pride last year. I wore it with pride this year as well, but there was an extra element where I felt super aware. Am I offending anybody? Is anybody upset by what I'm wearing? And looking around, it was quite nice to see lots of other Chinese-looking people, lots of kids at the school that I work at, and staff who are from very different parts of the world, all dressing up in traditional Indian dress for Deepavali and to celebrate. But I was incredibly aware of the fact that some people may take offence to it. And some people may feel that it is, there's a phrase that we use, which is cultural appropriation, which is using somebody else's cultural heritage inappropriately. And I would be mortified to think that I was one of those people, but I was super aware of it today. I was actually really aware of it just last week. The family, me and Millie and the kids, we took them over to JB, to Johor Bahru, for the day to have some food, to explore. We'd never been there before. And there were some stands where people are celebrating Deepavali as well. And Aspen and Millie both got henna done on their hands. And again, I just wondered, is that appropriate? Now, the line that I take and that I have taken in the past is that I felt that the intent has got everything to do with it. Our intent is never to mock. Our intent is to celebrate and to appreciate. And I understand that there are many different cultures around the world where there's been a lot of conflict, and to wear, for certain people to wear certain outfits of other cultures is a big no-no. And I wondered here, with my viewership, there's a fairly international viewership already right across the world, and an awful lot of us here in Singapore. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? I have always felt that, well, for me and my heritage, I'm a Peranakan, and the Peranakans historically were really into their Chinese side of things and the Western side of things, and they were almost obsessed with both sides of the globe, the Western and the Eastern. And it was like an amalgamation of two different cultures, and out of it came this Peranakan culture, this Peranakan lifestyle, if you like. And if you look at a lot of the Peranakan museums or things around Singapore. The Intan, for example, the guy who's the curator of the Intan, Alvin, is amazing at sharing the stories and the obsessions with what the West had and the Chinese. And I think that this whole culture has come from borrowing, taking, using both of these different cultures to create their own. I don't see anything wrong with that, but there wasn't a hurt. There wasn't a mistreating of any people in particular there. And I think that is a huge game changer when it comes to whether it's appropriate or not to wear these. Now, I had a chat with a few colleagues about it today as well. And over the last few weeks, I've had a few conversations with different people, colleagues and other friends, about the whole idea of cultural appropriation. One very, very big thought is that all culture is appropriated. All culture is borrowed, is taken, is used, is developed. And therefore, it's hard to be able to just draw these lines and say, no, this isn't yours, this is mine. A thought that I've held very, very close to my heart is that forgiveness is everything when it comes to the offence that could be taken in these situations. Actually, one of my friends mentioned this, which I thought was very, very poignant and quite interesting, which is that cultural appropriation is often out there to make people feel guilty or to make people feel victimised. Neither of those things are particularly nice. Now, with that side of the feeling victimised, I do feel that, and I'm not saying it's easy, I do feel that forgiveness has got a huge role in this whole thing, in this whole issue of humanity. For me, I often see the different races and and all the differences between peoples being very easily overcome with forgiveness. There's a lot of hurt and pain that we have, as humanity, have caused each other over centuries, over millennia. But if we can learn to forgive, and I'm not talking about a whole group of people deciding now this is our time to forgive. I mean one by one, each of us choosing to let go. Not to say that what the hurts that have gone in the past, or these horrible racial crimes, it's not to say that they're fine and they're okay. It's actually just to say that no, I'm going to acknowledge that that's the past and it's time to move on. I think that would make a huge difference to humanity. So let me talk a minute again about whether this is appropriate. My great-grandfather, there's these stories from my grandpa. If you have heard me talking about my grandpa before from our Wanderlust channel, his dad used to dress up in a three-piece suit and a hat and walk down to the Padang here in Singapore and watch cricket every weekend. He was a Peranakan man, he was not British, and he was obsessed with the culture and the lifestyle, and it was something that he did regularly. I wonder these days, would we say that it wasn't appropriate for him to wear those things, to go and watch the cricket? It's a very English thing to do. I recently found out something very interesting for me, which was that the flamenco culture of Spain actually came from Indian gypsies, and they travelled and they ended up in Spain where they settled. And if you look at some traditional music of India, particularly in northern India, you can see their dresses are almost exactly the same. The style of singing, the style of playing, I'm a musician, so I'm really interested in this side of things, is almost exactly the same. It's been transferred, it's been moved geographically, the instruments are slightly different, but the styles are largely the same. How would different cultures develop if we keep clamping down and keep saying no? I don't know. I'm very, very aware of the hurts, and I am honestly an empathetic person. I feel a lot for other people. I cry when my friends cry, even if I don't necessarily know what's going on. But I guess I'm slightly hesitant in what I'm talking about because I know that it's a sensitive subject, but I'm interested in what you think. One of the thoughts one of my friends brought up today was that Native Americans in some areas, if not all, I'm a little bit ignorant to it, but she was sharing with me how Native Americans are becoming very protective over their culture, their heritage, even to the point of which, you know, different percentages of your blood, of your DNA, if different percentage of your blood, if a greater percentage of your blood or your DNA is of Native American origin, then you're able to be involved more in their heritage, involved more in the practices. This is something that's very new to me. I'd love to do a bit more research on it, but I find that very, very interesting as well, because it's a complete contrast to what happened with my kids the other day. We were invited very kindly by the former president of the Eurasian Heritage Society here in Singapore to go and explore the Heritage Gallery, to find out a lot about the Eurasians and what cultural aspects they not hold, but how they contributed to Singapore over the years. And my kids, by definition, are Eurasian. They have an Asian dad, a European mother, and they are, by blood, they are Eurasian. By heritage, they're not at all. By heritage, they are half Singaporean and half English. They've got this real blend, and they know very much about both, having lived in both, having their parents still very connected to both heritage and culture. But they were welcomed, invited into the Eurasian culture with open arms. Whereas the blend there, and actually I've had some comments before on YouTube with people who called my kids diluted or impure because I married an English lady and because their mother's a Caucasian. And I wonder, why do people feel so contrasting about this? Why is it that for my friend Asit, who took me out to buy this beautiful outfit, for him it was a celebration and an embrace, and he was so proud to see me wearing this the next day. We took a photo together, him and his Kurta, me and mine. Yet there's people who would feel that I didn't have a right. Now, to set the record straight, I'm sure you can tell already, I'm wearing this as a mark of celebration, a mark of respect. I want to celebrate. We're going to be exploring Little India this weekend with my mother-in-law, who is new to Singapore. She's here on holiday. And we're going to be going with eyes full of wonder and enjoying it all. So, is it okay for me to wear this? I don't know. I think so. My heart says it is. My head's a bit confused. I would really, really appreciate your comments and your input on this in the comment section here. And as always, if it's okay with you, I'd love for you to hit subscribe, to be able to hit like, share the video if that's something you're able to do. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me again on another vlog, the second one. There'll be more to come, and we'll see you soon.